till lecture 4, I think, data types and variables and typecasting. Anyone who is facing problem there? And there was one program to write to print different variable types and their value. I think that everyone has done. If there's an issue, you can say. So moving forward, I also told you to discuss about chapter 1, Java for Dummies, Intro to Java and Objects and Classes. Has anyone read the book? I don't know if you have understood or not, but at least you have read that chapter. You can raise your hand at least. Okay. So first of all, there will be a brief intro about what are objects, what are classes. Then I will discuss about the book. So Vikas will give you a brief intro and explain you what are objects and classes. Okay.
Yeah, so being started with the classes and objects. So classes and objects are the user-defined data type, just as like you have studied if you are from CS background, like in C, like structure. But the difference is that in here we can do or perform the object-oriented concept like security. In security wise, we also hear like all the members of the structures are easily accessible, but not in the case of class. In the class, we have to define like the different layers like public, private, and protected. So we will gonna read about these topics in depth in the object-oriented programming. And regarding objects, so in the structure, it is very much similar to structure. In structure, we then define the structure variable, and it was similar to object. In class, the variable was the object. So that was a brief intro about it.
Okay, so I said to read the book. I am discussing about the chapter 1. The
Mhm.
author says about his what is Java and why you should code and this and that, history of various other coding languages. That is, you can skip that part. Starting with object-oriented programming, there was a journalist from Yale. Yeah, I'm explaining it. There was a journalist from New York Times. He asked how you can say about Java in 4 to 5 words. Author in his sleep just says that Java is a great object-oriented language. Okay, so he explained everything about Java in this single term, object-oriented language. Okay, so the question arises, what is object-oriented language? So the thing is that when we do procedural programming, like in C, Fortran, we don't play with data mostly. But when you are doing codes in object-oriented programming language, the main focus is on data. Okay, so uh, let me explain in two simple words. Object-oriented programming language is based on two words, objects and classes. For example, there is a car. Okay, everyone has seen a car. So car has various characteristic. Every car, whether it's any car, Range Rover or Audi or any car, it has a metallic body. Okay, it has a steering, it has tires. These are the characteristic of car. Car itself is an object, the complete car. Okay, but there are some common characteristic that every car has. Okay, these are classes like metallic body. Okay, like the blueprint of the car that you say author has described, that is the class. Okay, and the inheritance of class, that forms an object. Okay, so there are many things that will be common. Functions may differ, like some car will have different speed limits. Okay, some car will have lower limits, speed limits, some will have higher petrol capacity. These are the functions that we call method in object oriented programming language. Okay, but the variables, the characteristics of the car class, that will remain same of every car, that it will move, that it will work on an engine. Petrol or diesel are the functions, but it will work on some mechanism, whether it's petrol or diesel, the engine will work. Okay, that will give torque. These are class. Also, the author of the Java for Dummies, Burry Bird, has given 2 to 3 examples. I would like to explain that also. The first and foremost was the example of an house. Okay, think of an architect. He usually gives a roadmap or the structure of how this building is going to be constructed. But he does not have to only build one house or two houses. He has to build a lot of houses. Okay, so he will be having a lot of projects daily. So what he does, he makes a blueprint. Okay, so every house has some characteristic, like it will have a kitchen, it will have a washroom, it will have bedroom. Okay, sizes may differ, characteristics may differ, like which marble, which tiles to be used, which paints to be used, how are the electricity and water connections are going to be moved. These are the characteristics that may differ, but the common characteristic, common class, that every house will inherit, that will be same. And this thing, this property to inherit something in every class is known in object oriented programming, is known as inheritance. And in the first chapter, author has discussed about inheriting a property, that in the later part, after some time, when you will be doing Java, you will study there are 4 things in object oriented programming: abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. These are the 4 types of object oriented programming, how we do. Okay, so discussing about the class and now there is an issue with the architect, that now the user, the one who is contacting architect for building his house, wants some changes in his house, so he has to make a new structure of the house. That's an hectic work for him, an extra load. So what he does, he makes a blueprint. Okay, so every house will have this blueprint. Okay, whoever comes, the only changes will be in the characteristics, in the variable values. That's the characteristic. Class will remain same, blueprint will remain same, the variable values will differ in every class. Okay, so whatever you want the changes in your house, I can give you that, but the blueprint will remain same. I don't have to make a daily changes. Now I am connecting this link with the day-to-day life of a programmer. When you will be doing a lot of course for creating a program, so what we do usually in C or Fortran, we write a function. Okay, and in that variable is rendered, means the function is dependent on the variables. Okay, but when you come to C++ or Java, an object oriented, especially Java, which is purely object oriented programming language, what we see there, function is not dependent on variables. And a good function is that which is completely independent from variables. Because when you want to make change to the specific part of the code, a specific part of the application that you are using, you don't need to change every function that is interconnected like in C, but you need to only change the classes, only change the characteristics of the functions that you are working. that has an error. Okay, that's the feature of using an object-oriented programming language. Now, there is also one more example that the author added in this architecture, that now someone wants to have a house in which ground floor will be same like every other house, but first floor will have 4 bedroom instead of the blueprint that has 3 bedroom. So what he did, he made a class for ground floor that will be the parent class. Okay, and he made 2 subclass, one of first floor that will have 3 bedrooms and other subclass that will have 4 bedrooms. So everyone who comes to have an structure for his house, he can decide which one he wants to have, and both will inherit the property. Okay, both will inherit the property from the parent subclass, that is the ground floor. Okay, so the characteristics you can change, also you can change the structured subclass, and but the inherit property will remain same from the parent subclass. This is inheritance in object oriented programming, which you will be doing a lot in the upcoming sessions. Okay, now coming to another example that author gave was of a chair. Think of any chair. It will have 4 legs. It will have a seat to where you can sit. It will have a back bone to keep your shoulder on. Okay, these are the characteristic of any chair. That is the chair class. That is what we called something a chair. Okay, that's the chair class. Chair itself is an object. Okay, but this chair class, this will remain same in every chair, and when the characteristic changes, that object will change, but the classes will remain same. That was the another example. Now one more example that I would add in this. Think of a DVD player. Okay, what you see in a DVD player is there is a screen for showing the time of the video played. Okay, there are some power buttons, there are some forward backward buttons. Okay, in a DVD player we can only see that, but what's inside? Inside there is a lot of functions that are going on. For example, the DVD that you have put inside is moving. There is been a read of that DVD. There are many other converting AC power to DC power from working of the DVD. There are many things that are working inside. So this is known as abstraction. Abstraction is what? We only see those functions that are in front of the user. Okay, but there are a lot of characteristic variables that are inside it which we can't see. This is object oriented programming known as abstraction. Okay, now coming, one I said was polymorphism. Poly, many, it means many, and morph means forms. Like whenever we want to have, for example, you open a web page. Okay, there are many functions, like there is a search button somewhere, there is a click button somewhere, but there may be different characteristics, but there is something to render. Okay, so we can change that rendering method, but the main blueprint remains same. That comes in polymorphism. Okay, we will discuss all this in details after the basics of the Java are over, but this was the summary that author wanted to give in the first chapter, that why Java and what makes Java so special, that it is used in web, it is used in application making, it is used in Android app development and various other fields, and why it is still so popular. What makes it so different from other? These are the features that makes it different. You don't need to do a lot of codes or something if there is a changes you want to make. You don't need to there are many functions using object oriented that can be done, and that makes it easier for a coder. Okay, these are the things that makes Java so special, and this was the introduction that author gave in the first chapter. Okay, anything to ask? There are any queries related to the first chapter or the data types variable typecasting?
We understood. That was basic part.
Yeah, and that was discussed in the first chapter. So I think we can do till conditional if else, or we can complete if else nested also. Do it till lecture, I think. Wait a second. We have done till typecasting, right? 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 lectures till lecture 8. Okay, complete if else statement. That's an easy part. 4 lectures. And let me see for chapter 2 what's JVM. Yeah, this is must read. We can do chapter 2 tomorrow. It's very easy. I think JVM. I will explain what you don't understand, but at least make a read, because you can get everything on internet. You can learn everything, but when you read a book, you get to know what author is thinking. You get to know what are the experiences of the author after writing this book, what he wants to convey, his thinking. So read the book. It's a good habit, and I don't think that it will take more than 30 minutes to read a chapter in this. Language is so simple, and it will make an impact on your brain about what you are studying. It will help you. Okay, so do chapter 2 tomorrow. We will discuss that, and also till lecture 8, nested if else. Okay, nested if we have to, we will do till that. I will share 1 or 2 problems, but must read chapter 2 tomorrow. Okay, everyone, because the book is so interesting. You will just love what is this. Okay, it's not like the common college lectures that it's boring or something. You can interact. Just read the book, then only you will understand what I want to say, what the author wants to convey. Okay, so just read the book
Okay,
tomorrow.
sir.
Yeah, thank you.